In Thursday's White House briefing in response to COVID-19, a big announcement from Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. It's a quick action plan to bring some financial relief to small businesses across the country. Now, could this nearly $350 billion relief program help American businesses that are struggling to roll out their payroll? Joining me is economic expert Matt Will, an associate professor of finance at the University of Indianapolis. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so what does this loan look like and who can apply for it?
It's an amazing loan program that we've never seen before. What it allows is small businesses and not-for-profits with less than 500 employees to apply for loans up to $10 million to cover things like payroll, interest on mortgages, and rent.
Okay, and so there was even discussion that some business owners would not have to pay back the loan if they kept their employees. I don't see how banks would be able to keep up with that demand and promise.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because what the loan provisions have in it is that they will forgive the loans if you keep your people employed over the time frame between now and June 30th, and that if you use it specifically for payroll expenses. So there is a forgiveness opportunity in there, and it's pretty impressive that companies basically will have their loans turned into grants and won't have to pay them back at the end of the day.
Okay, Mnuchin bumped the rates in the loans to 1%. Now, what does that mean for business owners?
Well, that's really a fee that's going to go to the banks that are managing these loans. It was originally 0.5%, and now it's going to be 1%. The government isn't going to get any of that money. It's strictly going to go to the lending institutions that are processing the loans.
Okay, and the unemployment rate is surging. We saw 6.6 million new jobless claims filed nationally in the past week. We want to keep Hoosiers hired. How will this relief program directly impact Central Indiana?
Well, that's the exact goal of this program, because the only way you can get this money is if you promise to keep your people employed. So people that have, or companies that have less than 500 employees will apply for this money. They'll be able to keep their people on the payroll, and they will not go on the unemployment rolls. So it really is an attempt to keep people off the unemployment rolls and keep those businesses running so that they're ready to go once this whole situation is over.
Okay, and the Treasury Secretary seemed very adamant about the urgency behind this, even saying this would put money in accounts as early as the next day. And on top of that, is Friday, April 3rd, tomorrow, an actual realistic timeline of when small business owners can apply for this loan? Will banks be ready?
I got to tell you, this is absolutely amazing because the law was signed into place last Friday, and people will be applying for loans 1 week later. And the Small Business Administration will be ready to make deposits into their accounts by the end of the day on Friday. 7 days. Keep in mind that the Obamacare website took 3.5 years to create, and it crashed right when it was launched. So if this thing actually succeeds tomorrow, it'll be nothing short of amazing.
Do you think it will?
I'm optimistic it will, and here's why. Because the smart thing that was done here is it's been rolled out to the banks. There are 1,000+ banks out there that are going to be making these loans. It's not the government directly. So what the federal government did was say, we're going to push this into private industry. We're going to force you to roll this out within a week. And they're all scrambling to get the business because, of course, every bank would like a 1% fee when really it's costing them nothing to put this money out the door.
Okay, so for small business owners in Central Indiana, what should they be doing right now?
Every small business has a relationship with a bank, and it's called a 7A bank. And most of the small businesses know what this is. Just call your banker in the morning because the loans are going out on a first come, first served basis. So once the money runs out, the $349 billion, it's gone. So you want to get to your bank immediately in the morning, process the loan, and then get your money in your checking account as soon as possible. It should be that straightforward. I think we all got our fingers crossed to see if the systems are actually going to work, but I'm very optimistic that the private banks are going to be able to pull this off.
All right, so according to the SBA's, there are 30 million small businesses in the country. Will there be enough money to go around from this, or is the president going to have to go back and ask Congress for more money?
That's a great question because there's only $349 billion, I know we say only, allocated for this program, and it's on a first come, first served basis. So if you think about it, 30 million businesses, that money may run out pretty quick. So I suspect there will probably be another round of money allocated to small businesses because we really want to keep everybody employed, and that's what the goal of this program is.
And what about those companies that have had to close its doors for now or furlough employees? Are they still able to go back to this loan to get those employees back on a paycheck and payroll?
You know what? I think that's still an open question, and they should go ahead and fill out the application anyway, because the requirements are that people were employed from February 15th through June 30th. So they may not qualify, but I think they should contact their banker anyway, and they should see if maybe they put those people back on the payroll, or if they haven't filed for unemployment yet, give them a paycheck and possibly get the loans.
Okay. Matt, anything else you wanted to add that these small business owners should be doing or what they should know?
It's not just for small businesses, it's for anything that's a small business or a 501c3. So a lot of the not-for-profits out there, the food banks, the private schools, those organizations should be out there trying to get these as well. Contact their bankers as soon as they can, get the process rolling, because everyone that has 500 or less employees, you're eligible for these loans.
Okay. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is a lot of new information coming in very quickly.
My pleasure.
And on our website at theindychannel.com, you can find a sample application from the SBA as well as a loan calculator so you can find out how much of a loan you qualify for.